Greetings, sock hoppers, teeny boppers, and Bobby Sockers.
Today we're going to talk about teen movies
With makeover sequences.
And we're drinking chai lattes.
The idea of a teenager is a pretty new concept. For most of human history, children were children until they were adults. Around the 20s and 30s, right about the time of the advent of the automobile and also the idea of extending schooling beyond primary school into high school, gave rise to this idea of a teenager. And it really started with women more than boys because women had this weird period where they were old enough to get married or like have romantic entanglements but not yet married. Like unless they were really poor and had to work, they were generally idle. And so they bonded in peer groups, and that is where teenagerism came into being.
It's a period of like self-exploration within the group setting. It's like finding your tribe and finding yourself by trying on different tribes.
So the makeover.
It's a huge trope in teen movies.
Yeah. And it's a part of this like making a person over into something that fits in with a group.
Yeah.
Particularly teen girls. And the makeover montage, usually a very sexy jock or bad boy is involved.
Yeah.
Ideally.
The first things that I could think of, and if you guys think of something else, feel free to comment below, are two Audrey Hepburn movies. One is Sabrina, and the other one is Roman Holiday. And I think that there's a really good juxtaposition of the ways that the makeover can go. You have Sabrina where she's told by this older Frenchman to not wear her hair like a horse and cut it off. And like she gets this chic hairdo and she learns to look like this sort of chic Parisian woman.
Yeah.
And that haircut is so important they kept it in the remake.
And again, you get this kind of bushy, long-haired woman with, or sometimes she has glasses, but she's sort of frumpy, kind of, like, like girlishly frumpy.
I would say ungroomed.
Yeah. And then you have Roman Holiday where you have this like runaway princess who's finally having this one day of freedom. And what does she do? She runs like basically straight to the salon and chops off all her hair. It's like she's cut off this burden of femininity and royalty and then just gets to hang out with Gregory Peck all day. Like what teen girl doesn't want to do that? We all do. Yes.
Yeah. So there's a makeover that comes from external forces. Like I think a really strong example of that is Sandy from Grease is basically peer pressure to do that whole film. And this is actually one movie, like one of the few movies I can think of where the makeover happens at the end of the movie, not about a third of the way into the movie.
I mean, they do start telling her there's something wrong with the way that she looks and how she doesn't fit in very early.
But she does not budge on her look until the last scene.
Until she can wrap her mind around what looking like you're expected to look like in various different ways, like how she can make that serve her. The makeover for Sandy is on the inside.
And that one is particularly tied, and I think a lot of them are, but like the idea of sexuality and the sex object and becoming a woman for most girls also involves being looked at and becoming sexually attractive and available to young men.
That is usually the object of the makeover, even the stated object of the makeover, like in She's All That, they are deliberately turning an ugly duckling into a swan for reasons.
For the reasons of the male gaze.
Yeah.
Always a kind of dress moment, like a, what I'm actually gonna Gigi moment where she like appears like a courtesan swan out.
That's for real. There's always a guy there to be like,
whoa. Which is, I think, the opposite almost of the sort of natural internal makeover of Mean Girls. Yeah. Where it becomes immersed in girl world, while the sort of proxy of girl world is they become a hot girl that men do like to look at. It's more about fitting into that mean girl performative feminine culture.
Yeah. Clueless is an example of that. I mean, Ty's makeover is only for Sharon Dion, but there is this element of, I mean, she doesn't really choose it. They're sort of like, we have to wash this out of your hair right now, and you know, she eventually finds the balance in the way that she wants to actually groom herself.
And that's actually to take her away from an unsuitable boy.
It is.
Yeah,
which is like, it's actually, we want you to not attract that kind of boy.
The makeover doesn't occur for Elton.
No, it's just a human Barbie doll that they want to dress
basically.
up.
Yeah.
I recently watched The Duff, which I think plays with these themes really well. And sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not, but what I think is fun is that the makeover with the jock comes from the teen girl herself. It's not a bet, it's not a dare, it's not a pay to do this to someone, it's not even we want to ruin these girls' lives so go hang out with them or they want to control you. It's just, I want to be better at this. I'm bad at this performative femininity thing. You can teach me that. Teach me your ways. Be my Yoda.
Yeah.
Really hot Robbie Amell. Don't wear a shirt most of the movie.
I think it's cool too, the characters that they go to this usually incredibly femme, glossy teen makeover place, and some of them stay there, but some of them don't.
Yeah.
Ty gets right back in those flannels where she's the happiest.
But she doesn't keep the Kool-Aid in her hair. Like, the thing is that by the end of the movie, the teen girl has decided which pieces to keep, which resonate really with herself, and which pieces to either go back to the old way or a new way. Like the way that Lainey looks at the end of She's All That is not back to her like paint spattered life. She keeps the contact lenses, you know, because she didn't really ever have a reason to have them before, and now she realizes that she likes them. So read, and supply with an army?
I would supply Bianca with an army. She's so angry. I love giving angry people armies. I should never be in charge of whoever gets real armies though. That's like, like if we look at my choices, it should never be, I'm not allowed to dole out real armies.
Except you always dole out our armies. I think, no. I think I would actually elect Lainey Boggs.
Yeah.
Because she is actually extremely politically minded. Yeah, she's like a save the whales kind of girl.
She's such a save the whales kind of girl. I love that.
Environmentalism. I guess we could read Princess Anne from Roman Holiday.
It's a really good one.
Jinx May. Yeah, definitely read Princess Anne. My Day with Gregory Peck. Like, that's adorable.
A hit with teen girls everywhere.